Okay, boxing fans, we're going to talk to you right now about Luke Campbell, the lightweight, versus Daniel Brizuela, an Argentinian lightweight who you may have seen recently kicking fuck out of Tommy Coyle, only to get fuck kicked out of him in the same fight and stopped. It was like a Rocky fight. It was actually one of the best fights I've seen in a while, especially on a matchroom card as well. But we'll get into a few questions, and I've got Paul here. First of all, Paul, the question I've got to ask you is Daniel Brizuela as dangerous as his reputation suggests?
No, I wouldn't say he's a bum, no. He's a lot better than the usual tripe that matchroom bring over for their fighters when they're not really fighting for anything massive. Brizuela, I think they brought him over originally for Tommy Coyle, thinking that he was just a bum and he was crap and he'd get beat easily. And how wrong they were, gave him the fight of their life because him and Tommy Coyle had, in my opinion, fight of the year. Rocky fight, as you said, it put Gatti Ward to shame. 8 knockdowns, people, come on. If you've not seen the fight, go watch it. Absolute brilliant fight. And he had Tommy Coyle. I think he might have broken a few of Tommy Coyle's ribs because he had him hurt, seriously hurt to the body. And I'm interested to see if he can hurt Luke Campbell in the same way. I rate Luke Campbell, but I'm not sure whether this fight's come maybe a bit too early for him because he has fought absolute bums, absolute window cleaners, as per usual when you're a matchroom prospect.
Maybe. So, Rory, what are your thoughts on Daniel Brizuela? Do you think he's as dangerous as his reputation suggests, or are we losing a little something in hype?
I think, let's be honest, I think the only reason Brizuela is getting this fight is because of how good a showing he put up against Tommy Coyle. So you've got to kind of look at, well, how good do you think Tommy Coyle is? I think Tommy Coyle is probably, I probably wouldn't even put him in top 5 lightweights in the country. I'd probably say he'd be somewhere around the 10 or, somewhere between 10 and 5. So if you're looking at that and you think, well, Tommy Coyle's not the best in Britain, then I think it might be a bit of an overhype for Brizuela. But I think it's still a risk for Campbell, who's not had that many fights. I think it's certainly a massive step up from what he's been fighting. But I don't think he'll cause the same problems for Campbell as he did Coyle, though.
Yeah. So, for me, personally, the way I look at it is Brizuela is not as dangerous as his reputation suggests. What I see is Tommy Coyle has a level, and Tommy Coyle's level is just, once again, area level. I don't think he's good enough to win a British title. I honestly don't. I don't think he's even close to that at lightweight. I don't see it. And he barely makes weight as well. So I just don't see it. I think that he's overhyped, Brizuela, based on Coyle being, what in my opinion, shit. So I think that basically all of the problems that he was able to give Coyle, I don't think he'll be able to give Campbell any of those problems, or not many of them. But I will give him credit, he is a better fighter than what Campbell has been fighting, definitely, by far. And for that reason, it's a worthwhile fight, but I just don't see Brizuela as this killer that's going to test him to the maximum. He's not. Moving on, I'll go back to Paul. Who do you actually expect to win this fight? We'll do the prediction now.
How many rounds is it going to go? 10?
I assume so, I'm not sure.
Alright, we'll assume it's going to go 10. I think it's going to go 10. If it goes 10, I can see Campbell winning on the scorecards, but maybe it might be controversial, because I'll say it again, there is no way you're going to get a decision on a matchroom card if you're just some random foreigner. It just doesn't happen, no matter how well you perform. I can see him giving Campbell a really good fight, to be honest. I don't think he's going to drop him and absolutely take him life and death like he did with Tommy Coyle. Don't see that, but I can see him having success in the fight. I can see him winning some rounds. Maybe enough rounds so that certain people might have him winning the fight. I don't know. Maybe some people might, when the 10 rounds are up, score the fight to Brizuela. Well, I don't see him getting the decision. I can see Campbell probably winning the fight. Maybe 6 rounds to 4, 7 rounds to 3, something like that. And maybe a few people will kick up a bit of a stink about it. And fair play to Campbell for taking the fight, because there's too many matchroom prospects who are just content to fight absolute nobodies, absolute joke opponents. Anthony Joshua, Callum Smith, they're fighting absolute, just embarrassing opponents recently. Well, not so much Anthony Joshua, but Callum Smith definitely has. He's been fighting really, really embarrassing opponents while they make out like he's the next thing since sliced bread. And I know Matchroom think a lot of Luke Campbell, and you'd expect him to wrap him in cotton wool. But fair play to Campbell. He obviously offered him this fight, and on the surface of it, Brizuela is a dangerous fight because he's just done that to Tommy Coyle. And Campbell's obviously gone, yeah, I fancy that. I want to prove I can take this guy. So fair play to him on that score. But I think he'll win the fight, but I think it'll be close.
Mm-hmm. Rory, what are your thoughts on the prediction?
I think Campbell's head and shoulders above Tommy Coyle, and let's not forget Tommy Coyle still stopped this guy. I think it depends how Campbell wants to fight. If Campbell just wants to look slick and look clean and good, then I think it'd be a massively wide points win. But I could probably see that in front of his home fans, with it being probably the biggest fight of his career so far, sort of local lad, the crowd will get behind him. I could probably see Campbell stopping him mid to late rounds. Mm-hmm. The atmosphere will get him. He'll want to put on a bit of a show and not just look slick, but probably take the guy out. And let's be honest, the guy was dropped enough times. Yes, Coyle was, but this guy was dropped a fair amount of times as well. And I think Campbell's probably got a better dig than Coyle, and he's probably faster than Coyle. So I'd probably say Campbell by KO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Personally, the way I look at it as well, this is going to end most probably with a knockout, and I'm probably thinking that it's going to be mid-round knockout for Luke Campbell. And I'm thinking that because he's got better timing, better speed. I think he's got better power. He's a better boxer all round. He's better than Coyle all round. That's the way I see it. I don't think he'll give him the same problems, and I think it'll be pretty good knockout. And he's going to go out there and make a statement because Tommy Coyle's on there too, and I think that they might try and, Matchroom, I think, know that Coyle isn't going much further, and then they'll want to, cash him in and cash him into Luke Campbell, help him grow his fan base in Hull, and then they'll go on from there. But that is my next question to you guys. Firstly, I'm going to go to Paul. The question is, Coyle fighting on the same night, win or lose, will Matchroom sacrifice Coyle to Campbell to make a big fight in Hull and help grow Campbell's reputation?
Oh yeah, definitely, in a heartbeat. You were absolutely right when you said then, mate, that Matchroom know that Coyle is not very good. They know there is no way he's going to get past domestic level. He's not going to be fighting for any European titles. Certainly not going to be in any world level fights at any point in his career because he's just not good enough. And they know that deep down. Whereas Campbell, he's a prospect with loads of potential. We don't know how far he can go yet, but many people are very confident that he will go far. As soon as the fight makes business sense, they'll sacrifice Tommy Coyle to Luke Campbell. They'll probably do a big fight in Hull, maybe next summer now, and to be honest, no Matchroom, they'll put it on pay-per-view. The Battle of Hull, Tommy Coyle versus Luke Campbell for the British title on pay-per-view. You've heard it here first.
Ooh, on pay-per-view, good God. On pay-per-view. Rory, what do you think? Do you reckon Coyle's going to be sold out, down the river by Eddie Hearn for Campbell?
Big time. Look at it. Luke Campbell, Olympic gold medalist, golden boy. But build it up, like you've already said. He's already been built up. He's already a definite. They both come through this. They're both fighting each other. That's pretty much a given. It's already been muted. It's pretty much all but signed, sealed. They'll feed Tommy Coyle to Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell will then have the whole of Hull on his side, and they'll just kind of move through the country. They'll go from that point to fighting probably the best northern lightweight, maybe not Anthony Crawler, but perhaps a Martin Murray or something. John Murray even.
That would be impressive, yeah.
I know, yeah, no, just a tad. And then if Crawler doesn't get a world title, they'd probably fight Crawler, and then just go from there. And I really do rate Campbell. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he's a slick boxer who's got a sort of a finishing sort of mentality and sort of wants to put fighters away as well. So yeah, Tommy Coyle's absolutely nothing to match him, and that's no disrespect to Tommy Coyle, but he isn't. I agree with you. I don't think he'd win a British title either. So it doesn't make sense to back Tommy Coyle when you've got a far better lightweight just there in the same sort of in the sam city as well.
So am I getting sold down the river pretty soon then?
Oh yeah. It's basically Tommy Coyle. If he gets through this against Katsidis, then expect him to lose against Campbell in his next fight.
Even if he loses, you could fight him. I think that's the point. But we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. Tell us what you think about this fight. Tell us if you think they're going to sell Coyle down the river for Campbell in the near future.